Hey you guys, I'm Taylor and welcome back to Aim to Slay. Today we are making some sort of funky Valentine's inspired look, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to be using body paint again. I've tried this a couple of times, first as Alphaba, then again as this blue character. I don't know, it just looked cool. Now I'm going to try a little bit more of a refined attempt, and I'm going to try a couple of new things. So there is this practice mostly in the drag community, I would assume, okay, but also in like the really intensive makeup community as well, of like getting your eyebrows as flat as possible so that they are not taking away from the overall look of your creation. The people say use glue, so I have a stick here of Elmer's washable glue, and I'm gonna try it. I guess you just do it. I don't know. Let's find out. All right, I'm gonna just apply glue to my face, and I'm kind of swiping it like up and out so that they lay as flat as possible. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's working. This is the one with glue. This is the one without. I think it's working. While the glue is still wet, though, I am going to take a brow brush. You probably could use a spoolie, and honestly, you probably should. I don't feel like this is really doing much of anything, but it's better than nothing. Okay, let me do the other one. Okay, so my brows are on. I don't really know what you're supposed to do next. Maybe a concealer to like set them. Let me grab some concealer. Concealer and a brush. I'm gonna put some on the back of my hand. I'm gonna just do a little bit of concealer. I'm thinking maybe not the right shade, but also like there's a first time for everything, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just have to do something wrong to figure out how to do it right. That's my story and I'm sticking with it. I am gonna also just like conceal across the center because I can. And like we're going to be painting anyway, so it kind of just needs to be as not visible as possible, or as least problematic as possible. I fear I've made a mistake. I feel like I've done something wrong. 100%. But we're gonna keep going because that's okay. Mistakes can be made. We'll just try better next time. I'm gonna set this with some powder. I am using the container of indiscriminate contents. If you've been here before, you know what I mean. If you do know what I mean, rest assured that I have actually purchased a proper container of setting powder for when I do actual makeup looks, but when I mess around with paint, I've been enjoying using this whatever container because I don't care if I get paint in it. You know what I mean? For my first time doing that, I don't think I did the worst job, you know? I don't think that's that bad. I don't think it's that good. It's not a particularly good job. I know. But we listen and we don't judge here. Let's paint. So in the last two attempts of using body paint, I obviously made some mistakes because I didn't really like do any learning prior to attempting. I just was like, let's see what happens. So we've made some adjustments. Firstly, when I did the blue look, I used this large porous style sponge to do like a lot of the chest area. And I used this big flat paintbrush rather, to do the face. Those were both mistakes apparently. I should have used one of these large, flat, and not particularly porous sponges for the base. And this time, I have a jar to put water in so that I don't just turn my bathroom whatever color I paint. Okay, so it's V-Day. Let's do something Fun. So this is a white. It's currently covered in glitter. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. Let's find out. This is by Wolf, Face Art and FX. This is their 001 white Hydra color. Sponge wet but not soaking. See, I'm squeezing. Nothing's coming out. That's key. All right, let's do it. I'm gonna do my whole face in white to start. Right away, I'm noticing a much better application. So yeah, thanks, Mom. So you can see I definitely did some things right with the brow and some things wrong. I'm not sure what those are yet. So like if you've got suggestions, tell me. So this is another thing that I ran into with the blue that I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to address. Like sometimes I don't get like a good amount of coverage, so I try to go back over it. And I feel like it just takes my paint off. It kind of is frustrating, I don't know. Maybe this is I'm assuming it's a user error. Okay. I think my sponge was too dry before. Guess that seems to be working much better. And honestly, I might go back in with a brush, get the little details in the ear. So I don't know if I actually said this or not, but I think one of the mistakes I made was putting a setting powder down too soon. It's not makeup, it's paint. And once you set it, you're setting it. So I think I need to like get my paints down where I actually want them and then blend. I will say again though, like this patchy ass application, I don't know if that's me or what. See what I mean? I feel like the more I add, the more paint I lose, the more paint I try to add, the more paint I lose. Okay, that's it. Not going any crazier. Maybe just touching up down here a bit. Does that just look drippy, streaky? That's it. We're not going anywhere else with our base color. But before I get too far past it, I'm gonna switch to a brush and just touch up the ear. They're not very well covered at all. It's Valentine's Day, so we're going to use a pink and a red. The pink is by Snazaroo. This is, well, I'm not seeing a color name on it actually, but it's pink. Like a classic pink. And the red is by Meron Makeup Paradise Makeup Water Activated Face and Body Makeup, and this is called Beach Berry. And that's hot. So here's what I'm thinking. This is why we did the brows. I think I want to do like a heart, yeah. And then like kind of ombre it out and then do like maybe something kind of like geometric and funky down here. Some rhinestones, lashes, call it an effing day. Right? So let's give it a try. Though it may be crazy, I think I want to use a small detail brush in the red to kind of like map out where I want the heart to be. I do kind of think it should be like the whole face, and I think like this should be where the bottom point is. That tickled so much. Oh my god. Kind of like under my nose. That's where I want the bottom to be, and now going straight up, I want the center to be, yeah, probably here-ish, so that I can kind of come up. Like there. Above the arches, that's going to be my top points. I know I didn't make the dots the same way, but they are even across my face, which is what matters most. And then I just want to make sure that I like come across here in the same way. So I kind of want to put like a guideline for like here, because that's where I think I want it to like come back in on an angle. I know it just looks crazy right now, but those are going to be super duper helpful when it comes to actually putting the lines in. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. And I'm going to try to connect these lines first. Now I want to do this part. And then we'll do these parts, because those ones are going to be difficult, I think. As you can see, I'm kind of like stamping and also using like the tippity top angled part to kind of drag my lines where I want them to be. I know it's rough, but I feel like it does translate. Okay, now I'm going to use a small brush to clean these lines up. Script brush that we used to lay the dots. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm going to use one of these sort of like rounded brushes, and I'm just going to add a little bit more like thickness to the first line. I'm going to just like bring it out a little bit and kind of, we'll then work the pink into like ombre out. All right, that helped. That added more definition. Plus I was able to smooth out the lines a little bit, because some of them are a bit angular. And I was able to absorb the majority of my big oopsies. So, yeehaw. Okay, now I'm going to switch to the pink, and I'm going to switch to this teeny tiny little like thimble-sized stamper sponge to start ombreing that out, I guess. And we'll go from there. I liked how small this was, but I don't feel like I have great precision, so I'm going to switch sponges. I'm switching back to these teeny tiny teardrop shapes, trying to keep the paint towards the smaller edge. I'm not sure I'm loving it, but it's doing something. Actually, that looks a lot cooler than I thought it would. So that's fun. We're gonna do more of that, but I feel like I want to incorporate the pink down here somehow. I don't know. I'm gonna use this porous sponge. My microphone died. I don't know when. I only just noticed that it was flashing red. I don't know where I was going with this. I kind of don't even hate it. It turned kind of Pepto-Bismol-y in a way I wasn't expecting, but not that bad actually. I gotta figure out how to feather this edge out more, but it is doing what I kind of envisioned. I just found like a medium shaded pink and a purple, and I'm thinking maybe it would be stupid not to incorporate those in somehow. I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to follow right outside the red with the purple. We're getting dimension. Isn't that exciting? Y'all, I've been going through it. So my phone like kept crashing and like having no storage, which is absolutely unacceptable, but whatever. While that was happening, I just sort of touched up some details. So I used a sponge to kind of like feather the dark pink and that purple kind of in more. I used the detail brush to touch up the red line, and then I tried to make this white again, both with the sponge and with the brush, and it kind of just like didn't happen. So it's a softer pink. Rhinestones. I don't think we're even gonna do makeup today because I always end up doing makeup, and honestly I feel like putting any more stuff with colors would just be distracting. So similar to the pearls, I also got these sort of AB reflective sticky rhinestones, and I think we're going to use those to put something together. I like to use a tweezer when I do this because it makes it just a little bit easier for me. I'm not going to record all of this because 1, storage, 2, this is going to be a process. I feel like I got to get close to the mirror. So this is it before. Trust that this process is going to work. Okay, we are rhinestoned up. So I did kind of like a smoke for the eyelids. I kind of brought the inside in a bit. I do kind of want to add a little color in there because I think that's just a little bit flat. Not exactly sure what I want to do yet, but I have an idea. I think I want to grab the About Face matte fluid eye paint. This is Scream of Consciousness. It's on the back of the hand, and then I'm just gonna like draw like I don't know, a something. We're gonna make it work. Honestly, just grabbing the same scripting brush that I painted with. But honestly, in doing this, I've had an idea. I'm gonna line the top with this red too, and then once I put my lashes on, I'm gonna use a spoolie to turn my lashes this shade of red. I think that'll look cool. So now I'm gonna prep my lashes. Spoolie, red. A hair, and one of my rhinestones just came off, so that's fun. I don't think it's super obvious that that rhinestone came off. At least I hope not. As always, I'm using House of Lashes. These are the Femme Fatales. They're beautiful. They're a little bit too big for my face, but I think that's not going to be a big of a problem, actually. These ones actually do kind of fit my eye a little bit better, but you may recall I really struggle with putting on lashes, particularly my left eye. So I'm going to start with that one so that it appears to be a little bit easier for me to do the other. I'm going to do this off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, lashes are on. I think that really added a something. I do want to hit them with the spoolie and the red really quickly. Then we're going to touch up the eyelids a bit because they're looking a little bit rough, you know? Doesn't necessarily translate right away, but I feel like it does kind of translate. I'm grabbing kind of a fluffy brush and the Ora Mirame palette. We're going to use that white to touch up the lid paint that's not really doing its job. And also to add a little bit of shimmer because I feel like the face is kind of flat right now. Why do I feel like the lip needs something? I feel like we do need something in the lip. I don't know exactly what though. I'm going to use a little bit of the red. Do I just go for it and just fill the whole lip in? I have to. It looks stupid with that there now. Okay, actually I do kind of like that. Ooh, actually that's coming out kind of cool. That gradient. Yeah, that looks amazing. Why do I kind of want to add that up here a little bit? Why do I look kind of scary? I don't know. It's kind of scary. It's cool, but it's weird. Honestly, I think it's done. I think I just need to photograph it and decide never to do something like this again. Here's an up close. Tell me how horrifying you think it is. Maybe wait and judge the pictures. All right, let me go photograph this. Be right back.